And we are live. Welcome, 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 welcome. It's the Millionaire Ladies Mob, and we are here with you. It is Thursday, 8:30 p.m. on the dot Eastern. And we are happy to be here to have another spirited conversation about financial topics. Different financial topics. Today is going to be a great one. I cannot wait for us to get into it. And so I'd like to give the ladies an opportunity to introduce themselves to you. If you do not know us, here's your opportunity to get to know us. We're on every Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. We're also live on our business page, Millionaire Ladies Mob. Please like and follow the page and share it. Others need to know about this information. We are live on YouTube and soon Clubhouse and Instagram. We're definitely live on Facebook because I'm sure that's where you're watching us. I'm Carmen Bernard, but I'm going to give everyone the opportunity to introduce themselves and tell us about their weeks. And wait, before I let anybody go, I want to say happy belated birthday to one of our millionaire ladies. She had a birthday last Monday. And if you did not go like her picture, go like her picture now and tell her happy birthday because she's celebrating the entire month. All righty, let me have the birthday girl go ahead and introduce herself first. Let's go.
Good evening. Good evening. I am Shalonda Kaiser Mitchell. I am not a year older. I am a year wiser, right? I am your money queen. I talk about all things money, budgeting, saving, how to grow your money, how to make money, right? And I can be reached at ShalondaKaiserMitchell.com. I'm Shalonda Kaiser Mitchell on my social media pages, Facebook and YouTube channel.
Awesome, 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 awesome birthday month, girl. And let's go to our favorite girl, lady in red. She says it's orange, but from where I'm looking, it looks like red. So it's the lady in red. Let's have her introduce herself and tell us where she is. Maybe she doesn't want to, so I'm not going to force the issue. But I just wanted to
Well,
say how pretty she is today.
this is definitely Virginia State orange that I'm wearing because it goes with my royal blue pants, which is my alumni colors. But I am Saran Baker, your debt elimination queen, and you can find me online at Covered by Saran on Facebook, Instagram, and my website. So I specialize in debt elimination, retirement planning, college planning, and legacy creation. But I'm actually in a beautiful part of Maryland right now called Kent Island, which is on the water. And so I stepped out of my enjoyable Thursday to make sure we talk about something important tonight, which is the number one thing we need to do to control our money.
I love that doing something and you're still here with us. Thank you so much for doing that. And maybe she'll share what she's doing over there. I don't know. But thank you so much for making sure that, we continue to do what we want to do. And that is to continue to educate and elevate all of our community about money. And now we'll have our lady healthcare queen, Aaliyah.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Thursday evening live. My name is Aaliyah Sherrod. I'm out of Southern California. It's warm today. And what I do is I help provide solid solutions to some of the biggest problems that we experience today, and that is in healthcare. I've helped thousands of families, even those who are Medicare eligible, save money, get great coverage, reduce that anxiety about medical bills because that bankrupts a lot of people. I help employers and associations obtain quality, affordable health care and other benefits for all of their employees. I'm an advocate for women. We are all women in insurance, and we're working to bridge the gap of equal pay and equal benefits. So that is me. You can find me on Facebook. My name is Aaliyah Sherrod. You can also reach me at Aaliyah, that's spelled ELEA, 10K.com. And hi, everybody. Thanks for the time. Let's see. Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. Awesomeness. I am Carmen Bernard, and you guys know what I do is help people to protect their income, to eliminate debt, to create a retirement income, an income stream for retirement that you cannot outlive, and to create a legacy of generational wealth. I can be reached at carmen10k.com. All my social media pages, just Google me. How about that? But tonight, I wanted us to talk about the number one secret to controlling your money. And we are going to touch on budgeting. Yeah, we got to talk about budgeting if we're talking about controlling money. Yes, we got to talk about the banks if we're talking about controlling money. Yeah, we might even touch a little bit on inflation if we're talking about controlling money. Yeah, we'll talk about all credit cards, major credit cards we have if we want to talk about control money. But guess what? That's not where it is. It goes way deeper than that. And the number one thing, I'm going to just come out and say it. The number one thing that we have to get control of if we want to control our money is our emotions. Our emotions. We have got to remove emotions from money. We've got to think about money in a logical way. Emotion goes out the door, logic is in place because there is an actual science for controlling our money. What do you guys say?
I'm gonna just jump in here. The thing is that we get so caught up in the emotion of it all, right? And we get caught up in who's doing what to whom and when. And the thing is that we really need to be more mindful of how we spend our money. And so when we think about emotions, I'll use the example of family. When we
Yes.
start thinking about taking care of family in different ways, maybe we have a lot of siblings, maybe we have a mom or dad or grandparent or whomever who needs us not only physically, but they need us financially. And usually that ends up being an emotional decision versus a logical decision when we really are looking at, maybe I can't afford to do ABC that relative 123 has asked us to do, and but it's emotional because you love this person, you care about this person, and so sometimes our emotion goes out the door and we spend this money, and now somehow we've ended up in a financial bind because we made an emotional decision with our money versus a logical decision, because the emotional decision of saying no or setting a boundary financially with our family members was much too tough for us to bear or to face, or we couldn't bear saying no to this loved one who asked for whatever it is. And maybe it was something major they need. It may not have been something trivial, you know. I mean, because sometimes we have family members come to us for different reasons, and some of them are trivial, and some of them are more serious, right? You know, but again, when we start to weigh our emotions about it, like, oh my God, that's my sister or that's my brother, and they really need me to pay for them to go to college their semester, or they need me to pay for their rent because something major happened in their life, or they need their light bill paid, or whatever it is, right? You fill in the blank.
Yo,
And we have to we make the decision to do it, but we may not think about what the cost is to us, because we may not be able to do something we had planned to do, right? Or it may not even be an issue. You might be making money on top of money on top of money, and it may not even be an issue. But for most people, for the average person, we've traded off something we wanted or something we needed or something we planned for in the future. Even if it's not right now, maybe it's not contributing to a retirement plan. Instead of contributing to a retirement plan at that point, we're taking care of this loved one, right? But in the long term, we're going to be the ones who pay the price. And so that's when it comes, when we start thinking about the emotional part of the money that we're doing. And you mentioned earlier, before we went live, really thinking about where we've come from in our families, what type of families we've come from emotionally. Did we have enough? Did we not have enough? Were we always in between? Were we always up? What was that environment? Because those things would also be triggers to kind of going forward. And you can elaborate on that a little bit more, because you said it way more eloquently than I did before we just came on. But the thing is to really just think about, and it's hard, right? And I'll speak from a personal place. It's hard when you have a loved one, someone you really care for or believe in, who comes to you with a something, whatever it is. We won't even label it, whatever it is, and they need money, and you think, well, I was going to do something else with it. Even if it was self-care, even
Right.
if it's something
Right.
you were going to do
Right.
to just take care of yourself, and you sacrifice that to do something for someone who was in need, you still have given up the power that you would have had to use your own money.
Now,
That's all I'm saying.
Saran didn't want to label it, but I'm going to label it. So, a family member, I don't know, your brother, your child got into some trouble, and now they need being bailed out of jail. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm going deep.
I mean,
I
you
want
went
to
all the
talk
way
about.
serious on it.
I want
I
to
was
talk
saying
about.
regular stuff.
I want to talk about what people really want to know or hearing and listening to tonight. So, because I'm talking about that. What do you say? What do you say, Shalonda? The person, it's your brother, it's your sister, it's your child that has been locked up for whatever reason. What do we do?
This is a very deep topic. It's a great topic. I actually talk about this all the time, being a financial counselor. And I'll always answer it the same. Your level of emotion when it comes to money is different depending on your class, different depending on how much money you have in the bank. So my clients that are wealthy, their level of emotion is different than my clients that are poor and in poverty and looking for, the next homeless shelter. So my clients that are wealthy, their level of emotion is, man, I lost $10,000 last night. How'd you lose $10,000? I invested in such and such. Why'd you invest in such and such? I like the product. That's emotion for somebody who's wealthy. And that's as far as it goes, right? Your person who is middle class that has emotion tied to money issues, it gets a little bit deeper because they are middle class. So they do know how to make money. They're just not making enough. They may not know exactly where to put their money so that it can grow. So they're always just going to be living that paycheck to paycheck that keeps them middle class. Their level of emotion is not, they're not going broke by lending out money to people who, are incarcerated or, needs to be bailed out, because they're middle class. So typically they're not flaunting money or showing that type of lifestyle to where that person that's incarcerated probably is not even going to call them. They're probably going to say, can you put your house up for me or something like that? Because they don't have the money laying around. They're middle class. They're
And
they're
should we put our house up then? Should we put our house up?
It depends on how much equity you have in your house.
That's very emotional, because that it's emotional, because I don't wish, incarceration on anyone. I just don't. So I probably would do whatever I could. I probably would.
And that's what most of us would do.
Everything needs to be a business decision, right? Because we're talking about emotion.
The debt elimination queen will not. Listen, I want.
Okay, so and I hear you, and that's the thing, though, right? And the reason why the debt elimination queen may say she will not is because if she hasn't always all her life, she now understands that money and emotion has to be separated. And you
Mm.
got to think about money logically, right? I have been asked to put up to come up with $13,000 or $15,000 to help someone out. I have been. And depend like we said, it depends on who it is, right? So depending on who and depending on their history. So if it was my son, and depending on what, and if it was my son who doesn't get into, who have never gotten into trouble, and I'm just saying this, what you call it, hypothetically, if you have a son that never got into trouble and he's gotten into this kind of trouble, for whatever reason it is, whether it was that he was defending himself or somebody else or something, but now he's in trouble. Like Aaliyah and me, we're gonna just go ahead and figure out how to get this money. Whether we got to put up our house or something like that, we getting our baby out, right? This is real things. This is real things that happens, right, with people, right?
But it doesn't just start in that, because you're talking about emotion. So it doesn't just start with that decision right then, right? It starts way back when
Exactly.
you start to plan for that. So you wouldn't put up your house. I know what you would do. You wouldn't put up your house. You would go tap into his life insurance policy and borrow some money from it.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
what you would do.
Yes, I will definitely do that. And if it was now, I already told my sons, and they will tell you, they're like, don't do anything and tell mom because she's a snitch. I told them I'm not going to jail for you guys. So now, depending on what it is that they did, they might have to stay in there. I'm definitely not, but what it is, as we speak today, really and truly, I did want to, like get a little bit, don't just touch the surface of it, because people are really dealing with some real decisions when it comes, and they may not even understand that the decisions that they're making are connected, are connected to their emotions more than anything else. Because now, like you said, right, there was a time when that would not even be a choice for me, where I could go tap into something. But what we're doing here today is explaining to people that although you're not sitting down planning, oh, this is in case my son goes to jail and I got to bail him out, or although you're not sitting down planning whatever else, there's certain moves that you make logically that will now enable you to help or don't help someone, even though it's their emotions tied to it right now,
Right.
right?
And
Even though their emotions tied to
planning
it.
logically can help you out of those emotional situations.
Exactly. And that's the reason why I wanted to talk about this today, because I want us to understand that when you're tied up, that's one of the reasons they always tell you, when it's the time to think about death is not when somebody dies. It's like, and I'm sorry, that's the weird thing that I'm going to choose to talk about right now. But it's the time to think about that is a long, long time ago, because when you
Yep.
when you're so emotional about what has ever happened, that's why when you go to a funeral home, they can spend $50,000 on a funeral, because you are emotional. You want the best. You want everything, and that
Horse and buggies and
yes,
stuff.
right.
Yes.
You want them to go. And let me just tell you, I'm speaking as I would be. I'm the same way. I lost my aunt last 2020. I lost my aunt in 2020 due to COVID. It was like the shock. Like, I did not, why my aunt was 82, but I still didn't think like something was gonna happen. Like, it was just a shock to me. And my aunt was like my second mom. And so when my aunt was when we had to make the arrangements for my aunt, I wanted her to have the best. She had to have a glass casket. She had to have her nails done, her hair. She had to look so beautiful. She had to go out like the queen she was. Okay. Now I'm gonna say that she had made some provisions so that she could have some of those things. And it's easier when the person has made some provisions than us. Now we can come and give out of our hearts for the additional things, right? For the additional things. I'm sorry, Saran, if I got you a little bit emotional there as we are talking about this emotional stuff. But losing my aunt, um, that was tough. And right after that, I lost my brother. COVID ain't no joke, y'all. I lost my brother. And then I had to make another horrible, horrible decision not to have a funeral because of what had just happened with my aunt. And we can get into that a little bit later. But I'm saying most every single thing, like Shalonda said, sometimes this is not just starting now. It's tied all the way back to how we grew up or things like that. But most everything that we spend money on has to do with like emotions. I'm gonna let Aaliyah speak for a little bit because Aaliyah told me, she was like, I think I said we're the only grandchildren on here, and she started to tell me a story. So Aaliyah, let's talk a little bit about the story with your granddaughter right now.
Well, that's why this is a topic that I probably need a little help on. I'm not an expert on a lot of topics, and dealing with emotion and and things and helping people. I do that. And so
we got Shalonda for that, though. We got Shalonda to help us.
I do. And Saran, if I make the decision, no, this is not going to happen.
Right.
My granddaughter wanted to go to, she's 6, and she wanted to go to a coding class for computers. And it had, she asked her parents or something, I guess, and they said, well, you really need that. It's not in the budget. And she says, she called me, or she asked me, of course, okay, where is it? What time? When? And you know what? She loves it. She's learning how to. I saw something she did the other day, and it's like she's really learning. So I encourage the learning. I encourage reading, anything she wants to do. If it's dance, if anything, I'm there. You just tell me, what do you want? What do you need? It's there. But I've also decided, and we said we weren't going to talk about, life insurance, stuff like that, but I'm also making a way where I don't have to worry about the funds personally out of my budget, household budget. We design things that we can have, where we can make sure that we have the funds for things we want to do. I'm older now, and I wish I had done things like that and stopped with the emotion years ago. That's why this is so important to talk about, because we do things based on emotion, and a lot of times it's not the right thing to do.
So guess what, Aaliyah? I also, we're the only older ones on the panel with grandbabies, and y'all, if y'all don't know, here's a fun fact: I'm a grandmother of 7.
Wow.
Yes. Yep, I'm a grandmother of 7. So listen.
My dad has 21 grandkids.
Oh, the struggle is real. I'm probably going to get there. I don't know. But, I don't know. The kids have been telling me, I don't know where you're getting any more grandchildren from. I have one grandson, y'all. One grandson. And I treasure that one grandson. He was the eldest. So here's the thing with him, right? We, everywhere my husband and I went, my grandson was going with us. We were going on vacation. We were taking my grandson wherever. Now, since we got 6 more tagging along, we're not doing that anymore. Who wants to take 6 children with them anywhere or whatever, right? But we were taking my grandson. I mean, that child has more passport stamps in his passport than lots of grown-ups, right? And he still tells me right now, he's like, it's time for us to go on a vacation again. Well, we can't take you alone because we can't leave you. But why not, Bucky? But when he was 4 years old. When he was 4 years old, and he's like, "Oh, I'm going on a cruise with Bucky and Papa." He calls me Bucky. Don't ask me why they just renamed me Bucky. Then the granddaughters came and they couldn't say Bucky. They started saying Buppy. So they call me Buppy. He calls me Bucky. And that's who I am, right? You can reach me at bucky10k.com. I'm just kidding. But, but you know, what happened is that just like Aaliyah, what their babies want, we want to be able to get it for them. And the good thing is that now we are able to do both. You are able to do both because you made some, and then it's not a struggle within, it's not a struggle. I mean, like a real physical struggle. Do I give him this or do I eat? You know, do I give him this or do I go on vacation? Right? Because now we have learned that there are tools that we can go on vacation on basically somebody else's dime, right? And we're going to talk about some of those things that we how we can do it. And I'll make sure that we have someone that comes on here that is an expert in credit. But that's one of the things, right? There are people that do only use their credit cards, right? For everything. Why? Because you get all those perks. And now and you get all those points. And now you go on vacation for free, right? The rich people know what they're doing. Let me tell
That's
y'all.
what I do. Y'all don't do that?
What the rich people
I didn't do that before.
Right, you didn't do that before.
Everything goes on a credit card.
Let me just tell you something. We were, especially for my husband and I, right? Good credit is great. We want to make sure we have good credit. So what did we do? We went and spent our debit cards instead of our credit cards. That was the dumbest thing to do.
Dumb. I am guilty of that.
Right. But it's not that I'm saying this. Listen, guys, don't just run out there and start using your credit card and spending. There's a method to the madness. You know, there's a method to the madness. And that's what we're talking about, though. If we start thinking about these things logically, if we think about the fact that using your credit cards instead of your debit cards so that you can rack up the points and go on vacation for free, and then take the money that was in the bank and pay back the credit card that you were going to use. That's one strategy, one way for you to do it. If we understood, like Aaliyah and Shalonda and the Debt Elimination Queen told you before, now they're able, if they choose to help the person that's in the lockup or whatever, they can go pull some money out to help to pay for that. And still, that money still stays there while it's growing, right? And so these are the things that we really want to talk about and teach you. If you want to know how to do that, make sure that you reach out to us. Our millionaireladiesmob.com will be available soon. But for right now, go ahead and reach out to us in our inboxes or on our business page, right? I want Shalonda to talk a little bit about some of the things that she speaks to her clients about when she first meets them, right? But let me tell y'all, it's not just about people who do not have. It's not just about people with lack, right? I grew up very poor, y'all, very poor. And it's hard for me to let go of my money, right? To the point that I remember I am over that a little bit now. And you hear me say a little bit, not all the way. But when my husband would purchase me, and I typically don't purchase these things for myself because I feel, although it's coming out of one pot in our house, I am not buying it. I always tell him, can you buy it for me when it's, something. So when he would purchase for me a day at Spa Sadell, y'all know that's a couple $100, right? I don't want to spend it. I don't want it to feel like it's coming from me. It hurts me physically. It physically hurts, right? So, and that's part of the emotional trauma from growing up, right? You can't spend that kind of money on that. Like Saran said earlier, it's sometimes it's self-care. And we are not here to tell you, do not get a massage and do not do a facial and do not spend a day at Spa Sadell. We're not here to tell you that. We're not here to tell you don't spend the money on your grandkids, y'all, because I will be continuing to spend money on my grandkids. I don't care what y'all do, right? I'm not here to tell you to eat no beans and rice and no whatever the other thing is, that noodles, I think, or whatever it is that people eat. By the way, I'm super hungry right now. I'm on a 36-hour fast. That's by choice, though. That's by choice. But we have to start thinking about these things logically. One thing popped in my head today, right? Even with sending our kids to college, if we would start thinking about that when they are born instead of when they're getting ready to go off to school. And because
second, before they're born.
before they're born, you're right. But and because your best friend Susie's son and daughter is going to such and such, you know your baby got to go to such and such. You don't care what Susie's money, you don't know about Susie's money or where Susie was paying, putting up money for that baby since he was born. But all you know is that your child got to go to that college or some college better. That's also emotional, right?
Yeah.
The opposite is irrational thinking, as a matter of fact. And so we got to get into start thinking about money logically. So I'm going to come back to that in a second. I'm going to have Shalonda talk a little bit about when someone comes in front of her, first thing she talks about, because she doesn't tell them, listen, look, you're going to have to start eating some beans and rice and soup or whatever. And you're going to have to fast for 36 hours and, and eat every once a week. She's not telling them that. Which she need to tell me that, but go ahead.
I don't tell any of my. Let me brag for a minute. One of the reasons that my clients love me when we're talking finance is because I think of. It's funny that you keep mentioning food because that's exactly my philosophy, and I explain it to them. You have to think of your budget like a diet, right? If you restrict your diet to things that you don't like, you're not going to be on that diet very long. Your budget's the same way. If you make your budget and you make it of goals that are not really you, right? You're not going to stick to that budget very long. So I practice and I preach a non-restricted spending plan. I show people how to incorporate the spa into their spending plan because self-care is the fastest way, or lack of self-care is the fastest way to end in a downhill spiral. Not taking care of yourself leads to not only money issues, but it leads to depression, it leads to stress, it leads to suicide, all of that. So we incorporate all of those things into your spending plan. I just show you a better way to do it. When I first meet a client, we don't talk money. There's a no money rule. We don't talk money at all. We get to know each other. We build rapport because I take a behavioral approach. I have questionnaires and I want to know, and these questionnaires I've developed because I've done a lot of schooling when it comes to finance, and I read people's faces, and people are not very receptive to filling out a questionnaire that's how much money do you make? How much money do you have in your checking account? How much money do you have in your savings account? Because they came to you for financial help, and that's depressing. So they're not going to come back because all they know is emotion. And they know that the last time they came to you and they felt that questionnaire, you made them feel bad.
Wait a minute. That's different.
Because it feels bad to talk about your bad money habits.
Oh,
right. So you ease them into it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we first talk about, what do you like to do? What are your hobbies? Y'all may think that it's just, just making up stuff and just going along, but it's not. I'm building rapport because if I find out what a client's hobbies are, then I can really know where they're spending their money. I can learn a lot from that initial conversation. So they're not focused on their money because I'm asking them questions, but I'm focused on their money in my head, right? So what are your hobbies? Oh, let's say they like to draw. So I already know they need a hobby fund in their budget because they're spending some money at a craft store, right? So you talk to them about their hobbies, you talk to them about their family, you talk to them about things that they like and things that they can control. When someone comes to you and they need help, they don't want to talk about what the real issue is. They want you to first see what they can control, right? So moms want to talk about the household because the mom knows the household, right? That's what we do. We get to know each other. We talk about their past. So, why do you feel like you like to draw? What about drawing makes you happy? It's my safe place.
Wow.
When I grew up, I lived in a not so safe environment, and I used to draw to escape.
Wow. That's some secret sauce. That's heavy. That's some secret sauce, because that approach gets people emotional with you.
It gets people to build trust with you. And I don't just do that because I want them as a client. I do that because I genuinely want to know what makes people spend money the way they do, because it also teaches me not to judge people.
Right. Because you're going to spend money on a variety of different things that you probably would never spend, but they mean so much to that person. And in the getting to know them, if you don't ever get to know who they are, you'll never be able to actually provide them with full level of financial services, because you don't even know who that person is.
You don't understand their needs. You need to know their needs to analyze them. Yeah.
You don't know what makes them tick.
Yeah. Or you don't know what's making them live. You don't know what's keeping them going.
Right.
You got to know how to reward people for good behavior. If you don't know what makes, when you start a new job, which I don't recommend anybody ever start a job, right? Because you're going to stay broke if you start a job. I start several. That's how I know that you shouldn't do it. But when you start a job, what's the first thing that your HR staff does? Well, hopefully you've had a good employer once, but what they do is they ask you, what do you like? What do you like? They want to know what you like so they know how to reward you when you do good things, right? Yeah, no, y'all haven't had employers that do that.
Experience.
I interview.
Ask me.
There you go. I interview my employers just like they interview me, so mine send me treats. But you want to know, they want to know what you like. So for my clients, I don't reward them with monetary gifts because it's against the law for me to, but I reward them with things that make them happy. So they will take pictures of things that make them happy, so that when they're in a sad space when it comes financially and they call me, I say, hey, pull out that soccer picture of your son and tell your son why you are not getting ready to go in that store and buy XYZ. And then we're over that, because that's what makes them happy. You're rewarding them with what makes them happy.
Nice, nice. So as we're talking about this and removing emotions from money, right? And you were just talking a little bit about a spending plan and things like that. One of the things that I know happens frequently with us is we get paid, a certain amount of money comes in, we get paid, and what do? We spend and we pay bills. And we do whatever we have to do.
Who pays the bills?
And we hope, listen, and we hope, right? Bills, right? And we hope that at the end of the month, we have not overspent. That's what we do. We know
hopefully you don't do that. If you do that, we need to talk.
Listen, so my point is here, many people, right? Many people, you can't fix what you don't measure.
Yes.
You cannot set a goal and don't measure, because you're not going to know if you're getting closer to the goal or further away from the goal or everything like that. And our money is one of those things that we don't like to. I'm talking about as a society, a community. We don't want to, we just get paid, put it in there. We don't. Let me even go a little bit further. this thing might be deeper than we know, because there's so much emotion that is attached to money, right? We as a society don't even use it anymore, right? We have money in your hands and go to purchase something and realize that you're taking out that bill after bill after bill to purchase it, you might get some remorse and decide, you know what, I'm not spending all my money on this. But now we've gone to cards. We've gone to debit cards. We've gone to Cash Apps. We've gone to Venmo. So there is actually, they're removing where you that they're removing the emotion, but in a bad way, because now we're just spending without any kind of control, without any kind of anything to kind of push back on us.
I'm gonna jump in here, Carmen, if you mind, as the debt elimination queen, because that's how we rack up debt, right?
Right.
Because we swipe, swipe, swipe. Debt is about swipe, swipe, swipe. It's, you know what? I didn't have enough money at the end of my paycheck because I didn't take the time to deal with my emotional spending. I didn't take the time to plan out whatever my budget was. But now these
To
things
think
are due.
logically about it.
These things are due, and guess what? I still want to go to the happy hour. I want to go on vacation, or I want to go do some extravagant things. Or I want to do the self-care because I didn't plan for it, and the money that I made, I'm going to overextend by using my credit to do it. And there's nothing wrong with using credit. So let me be very clear. I'm totally for credit. But when we use credit to the extent that we don't have the money to pay it off within that month or 2 months or whatever it is, it becomes a compounding cost of buying it. Now we're paying interest on the impulse buys or the emotional purchases that we need. Or maybe we had a bad week, right? And you know what? You know what made me really feel good? I went to the mall and I walked around and I saw some stuff I liked and I bought it. And now it's sitting at my house, and let's just be let's just be honest, some of it might be collecting dust. Or I was in the mall and I went shopping and I have grandkids or I have kids and I bought them something that I never had because I didn't get it when I was a kid. Right.
Right.
And then
Right.
you look up a couple of months later, and the kid has touched the gift once.
Once,
They
if
don't,
ever.
or don't even, it didn't even register that it was there because it's not the thing that they like to use. But that's your money sitting on the dresser, or that's your
Yes.
money sitting under the bed. Because when we start to look around, right? Don't let me get into my minimalism thing, right? When we start to look around us and look at all the stuff that we have, that's your money. And to take it even further, not only is that your money, that's your time. And if we go even further, that's not just your time, that's your life's energy that you put into the time to earn the money to buy the stuff that's now sitting on the dresser doing nothing.
There you
But you
go.
know what,
There
though?
you go.
But if you get to that point and you're listening to us, don't get depressed about it. Because
Exactly.
what you lack in that whole situation is financial control. And
Absolutely.
something that I specialize in is helping clients get from that depressed situation to
Yes.
having completely control of that financial situation by using that credit card.
Right.
So you have to think of your finances as a gift to you. When you
Hmm.
get ready to make a purchase, make sure that you're getting something out of it other than just the item that you're purchasing. I
Hmm.
am an advocate when it comes to credit card spending. I
Yeah.
do not ever use my debit card unless for some reason I am paying a bill or something. And those go on my credit cards as well. The reason being, when I make a purchase and I make it on my credit card, I'm going to get paid two different ways for that.
Hmm.
I'm going to get rewards. Two of my cards is going to give me cash for those rewards. One of my cards is going to give me airline tickets. So you best believe anything that I can put on my credit cards are going on my credit cards. And then
Right.
at the end of the month, or no, excuse me, at the end of the statement, before the statement closes, I'm going to take my checking account, which is where my W 2 money goes in, and I am going to pay that credit card.
Well, and let me jump in here because here's an important point in what you're saying when we start talking about debt is you put it on the credit card, right? And you have a designated time where you're going to take the income that you receive, whether it be W-2, 1099, independent contractor, C Corp, S Corp, whatever, right? And you're going to make sure you pay that card before the statement ends. That's a critical decision point.
Yes.
Sure you pay it, right? And
Yes.
that was the other thing, and that's important because sometimes we get to the point where we say, oh yeah, I'm going to pay that as soon as my money hits because I was using it the smart way to earn the points, the airline tickets, etc. But you can't miss that step in the
Can't miss that
process
step.
But
because
you won't,
missing that step in the process creates the debt.
no,
And
you
then
won't get to missing that step in the process.
the negative debt. And
No,
so
but
it's
you won't get
important to
there
not make
because
it.
you've created a healthy lifestyle, because
Right.
it's taken you a while to get
Mhm.
to that point to where you can pay off. It's a cycle. So in
Right.
the very beginning of the cycle, you can't just jump into getting credit cards and paying them off. You
No.
have to first earn the credit cards.
First,
And
you
in
got
order
and
to
you got to
earn
think
the
about
credit
it
cards,
logically.
right. And in order to earn the credit cards, you're going to first have an emergency fund.
Right.
So you're
And
never
you know
going to
what?
be in that situation.
You know what?
Well,
And
and
I
I
think
just want
that
to make that
Saran,
point. And I apologize. I
right.
want to make that point because so many people get into that cycle
And they missed that step.
without professional guidance, and then they miss that step.
Yeah.
And then the next thing you know, it's $20,000 in debt,
Right.
$30,000 in debt, 50,000. And I'm not talking people who get student loans. I'm talking credit card debt.
That.
You
Right.
know,
And so
consumer debt that is compounding interest that you owe because they went into it kind of on their own. They saw a video, it sounded cool, but they didn't go into it with a full level of guidance and didn't go through the process that one of us professionals could take them through with managing their emotions and getting into a healthy relationship with their credit cards and the plan that we're doing to move forward. Because I think that's the mistake many people make is I seen the TikTok video, so I'm gonna do what they said on TikTok video.
right.
But they don't have Shalonda, Saran, Aaliyah, or Carmen to kind of help them move through that guidance step. They're
And
just kind of doing it on their own.
and it's important to say, and I'm glad that you actually made that point, Saran. Not to say what Shalonda was saying, that this can get you in trouble, but some people, like you said, miss those steps. So I'm glad you took that time to kind of go back and make that point. You know what I mean? That and the other point to make, by the way, if you call any one of us, we do not charge you to speak with you, to get you on this road or to get you on this plan. We do not charge you for that. Although I'm getting ready to charge people who break appointments with me, because like I could be talking to someone else.
Missed appointments.
Right.
I
I'm getting ready to start charging for missed appointments because there's someone else that needed that time to be helped, and you took it for granted, and you will not take from me for granted anymore for that. However, the other thing that I want to say, in addition to being able to use those credit cards and getting paid for it twice and things like that, when we make some other purchases, whether it's a big purchase or whether we make an investment, we want to be able to show you how to make those dollars that you use to invest with, that you use to even pay down debt, to work for you while you're using it to do that. So just think about that. We're talking about placing your money, and this is another reason why we have to think about money logically and how it works, right? If we have our money in our banks, then unless we are earning at least the rate of inflation, which this year is average at about a little bit over 5%. It's way more than that. But if we are not getting at least that or half of that, we're losing money. If we're not getting at least that, we're losing money. So now your $100 next year is worth less. So logically, we have to put our money where it's going to be safe and grow, or at least keep up with the rate of inflation. And I don't want to get into this too deep because next week we're going to have a big old, let me tell you, come back next week. We're going to be talking about inflation. But at least the money keeps the value. We have to get that kind of rate. And if you're not getting that rate in your bank, then you need to speak with any one of the four of us to help you to put your money someplace where you can get that rate. Now, when you want to do an investment, you have access to your money. You pull it out and you go put that money for an investment. But guess what? Your money is still earning as if you never touched it. Tell me which bank you can go to and borrow your, and you borrow your money back out, right? Or take your money back out, but the bank is gonna say, "Oh, it's cool. You can keep that 20,000. I'm gonna still keep putting interest on it for you." That's not going to happen in any banks.
Right. And if you have bad credit, you're not getting no loan anyway.
And you're right, but I wasn't even talking about the people that got that's asking for a loan. I was talking about the people who have their money. But for the person who's listening to us and say, "Well, I got my money in the bank and I can access it anytime," I'm telling you, I saw a meme the other day and it said the banks are saying cover your PIN number when they're the actual thieves.
Uh-oh, you're gonna get us in trouble.
It's always Carmen. It's always Carmen.
Carmen, you always putting us on risk.
They charge you $3 to take your money out and things like that. They're the ones that's stealing the money from you, and they're telling you to cover your money up. So we are showing you a better way. So we're here every Thursday on 8:30 p.m. Please like and follow our page. Please inbox us if you want to. Just something we said, just kind of really, you can do that. Talk to us. Let us sit and speak with you. But really and truly, thinking about this stuff logically before it gets to the emotional state, right? It's the reason why lottery winners win the lottery and they're broke within a few years, right?
They don't have a spending plan.
Exactly. It's the same reason why you are celebrating this week that you've paid off your credit cards. You had $40,000 of credit card debt and you finally paid it off. And less than 6 months later, you're back in $40,000 worth of debt. Why? Because someone showed you something that was so great that you couldn't miss out on it. Emotional. Someone showed you some coaching plan that's going to take you to the next level. You could, by the way, we don't charge for coaching. You can it's emotional and you spend your money and you're right back in debt, right? So we have got to start with that spending plan. We've got to understand how, I hate saying understand how money works, but it's just the plain truth. You got to understand how money works. You put it in your bank, you're losing your money, right? Am I against banks? Am I anti-bank? No. I have a whole bunch of different banks that I use, right? Depending on whatever, especially the thieving ones that wants $12, $15 a month, right? I'm sorry, y'all. But those, I try not to use theirs, or I try to keep the minimum balance high enough so they can't steal that $12 from me each month. But we can show you how you can put that same $12 that they steal from you and other things in a place where you can borrow from yourself and become the bank.
I want to say something.
Go ahead, girl.
Say it. Well, I want to hear it. I want to hear it.
So let's be clear. I'm going to use a different word than Carmen. Let's overstand our money, right? Because when you think about under, it's beneath. when you think about the word understand, and I know the definition and all that, but we want to overstand it, and we want to understand. We want to understand what we're doing with ourselves emotionally when it comes to money and the decisions that we're making, because they have long-term impact whether we know it or not, right? The things that we do for the people that we love so deeply, and sometimes, and I'll speak from personal experience, and I love all my family and I do things for them at many different times. But I found that when I've drawn a line and I've set a boundary and I've said no in certain instances, that they still figured out how to do whatever it was they were going to do. Not in a bad way, not in a negative way, but just in general, right? And the thing is that sometimes that our setting boundaries and our saying no will allow our loved ones to grow and become more independent in whatever it
I
is they
always give
need
them the
to
money.
do, and whatever it is they need to do and get done, right? And Shalonda, I used to be you, right?
I
But
always give them the money. I do.
you live long enough and you learn, you know what, maybe if you say no one time and sit back and
Mm-mm.
see what happens, you'll
I
find
feel
out
like if you have it, why not?
Oh my God, I was gone. Go
I
ahead.
feel like if you have it, why not? I do.
yeah.
That's just
I
me.
don't
Maybe I'm
I used
different,
I
but
used
I
to feel
do.
that way. I don't
If
feel
my
that way.
sisters call me and ask me for money, how much? I do.
Yeah.
Because money is just, to me, it's just materialistic. I will
Yeah,
always make
absolutely.
more, and money always comes to me.
Yeah,
Money always comes to me. Um,
absolutely.
if
Now
I'm
we're
in a
having
situation,
affirmations.
if I'm in a situation where I don't even think about not having it because I know it's going to come to me. So if one of my sisters sends me a message and says, "Cash at me $200," I'm going to cash app her
Y'all,
$200.
cash app her now, right now.
Right
Cash
now.
app her right
Shalonda,
now,
Unfortunately,
y'all.
Shalonda,
unfortunately
can you
for
cash
them,
at
they
me
don't watch my
$200?
lives, so they just
Look,
missed out.
look,
Shalonda,
Shalonda,
I want
can
you
you
to
cash
cash
at
app
me
me a
now so I
hundred
can
bucks.
stay down here on the water where I just watched the sunset in beautiful Maryland?
Oh,
But no, but seriously, no, and you're right, Shalonda. It does come, but for me, when I say no, it's more of a life lesson for them, because one day I may or may not be here to do it for them, and I want to watch them become more independent. And it doesn't mean that I don't have it or that I can't do it. And sometimes maybe I can't. Maybe my money's tied up in something. I plan for some self care activities,
Mhm.
right? But in some instances, the no is more of a, I need you to grow outside of the dependence on what I can and cannot do for you. And so it just really depends on the situation. And I think that when we make less, and I'm of the belief of this, money is man made. So if you want more, go make more.
There you go.
At the end
There
of the
you
day,
And
go.
that's why I
money is
love these
man-made.
conversations.
And we'll say woman-made. Money is woman-made. If you want more, you're a woman. Go make more, right? We're the millionaire ladies, mom. So let's just be with it, right? If you want more money, you go make more money, and that may mean going and using your gifts to do things to generate that income, to do whatever it is you want to do. But it's totally okay where you look at, and I see that, Shalana, we're probably on different ends of the spectrum as far as saying yes and no. But the thing is, and that's perfectly
That's
fine.
why I
Yeah.
love
That's
this
the thing we
platform.
have to. That's the thing we have to learn to accept, is that each individual person is going to be in a different place and time
Yep.
in whatever area it is. And
Yep.
so, to go back to our original thing, the number one secret about managing money, it really is your emotion. Where are you in your emotion, right? Emotion, when you break the word down, it has the word motion in it, and your money is tied to the motion. And so if your money's always moving, how are you moving that money along the path? And the
And I
question for
second
you
that
is,
motion.
how do you use it to your advantage, or to the advantage of those that you love and care about, either now or in the future? And that's really the bottom line. But I know we're at 9:29. We promised y'all we'd only be on here for an hour.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
but I really wanted to, and I love that there's such a difference in how we see moving things forward, because we can learn so much from one another, us on this platform and you all from watching this or the replay. But it's important to
about how you want to do certain things and how you want to move it, because when I'm making a decision, I really try not to make it out of emotion. I really focus on what's the logic behind what I'm saying yes or no to, right? And if this is going to be a continual thing or whatever it is, right? And I love that Shalonda says, if my sister calls me, I just say yes. And I love it, right? And I'm not the sister that's going to call because I'm the oldest too, you know. But the thing is to really just have some plan and live within what you decided is your boundaries and your yes or your no at the end of the day.
Very good, very good. Y'all, this was such a great conversation. I cannot believe we're at an hour already. If my sister calls me, I'm going to give her $1,000,000. I don't have any sisters, but but I really can't believe we're here already, and we barely touched the surface. And like most of our conversations, we barely touched the surface, and so we'll be here forever talking to you. So get used to it. By the way, my
I'm
husband
gonna
said.
call you. I'm gonna call you for my $1,000,000. I'm gonna be
My
your sister.
husband said. My husband said, "Hey, y'all sound real good. I'll give y'all my money."
I like how Saran does sound good. All of a sudden, her mic just got super clear.
Yes, it did. It just popped out. She knows she's that much closer to the. I'm not gonna even say it, but
It's the water on the other
realistically,
side of this. It's the water I'm looking at on the other side of this camera on the beautiful Potomac.
So
oh,
you
nice.
normally don't go where you are in that area, right,
No,
Saran?
this is about 45 minutes east of where I live. And
Okay.
I
Okay.
decided I wanted to watch the sunset. And it's a beautiful location to drive east and watch the sunset on the west from
Wow.
this area on the water, where the boats are coming in and people are just living a slow rural life. It's just it's just a beautiful place down here.
That's awesome. I said to myself I should have planned to come down and because you're close by where the conference is going to be, right? So I should have come down and come stay with you.
Oh, wait a
But
minute. You're going to the homecoming?
I'm not going, but Doug
I'm
said they're
sorry.
planning something big in July, so maybe we can go to
Okay.
that one.
Yeah, I'll be there Thursday and Friday.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, I won't, but
We're still live.
that's okay. That's okay. I won't
It's
be there.
time.
I won't be
It's
there
time
because
to wrap it up. Is what Shalonda said. Wrap it up.
I think that's a slogan for something. Wrap it up. All right. This is
Well, you really want us shut down.
hey guys. Let you guys do a quick outro really quickly. 10 seconds. Let's go.
I'll go first. This is Aaliyah Sherrod. I'm in Southern California. You can reach me on Facebook, Aaliyah Sherrod. I am the healthcare queen. And you can reach me at Aaliyah, ELEA10K.com. And thank you guys for joining us.
Go ahead, Miss Aran.
I am your debt elimination queen. I am at Covered by Saran on Facebook, Instagram, and my website. And you can reach me there anytime, or you can go to saran10k.com.
Miss Shalonda.
Shalonda Kaiser Mitchell. I am your money queen. I can be reached at ShalondaKaiserMitchell.com or on Facebook as Shalonda Kaiser Mitchell. Reach out to me. I would love to help you to get towards your spending goals.
Awesome. And I'm Carmen K. Bernard, the cash value queen. Reach out to me so that you can learn how to use your dollars 4 and 5 times, the $1 4 and 5 times, and build up wealth. I can be reached at carmen10k.com or carmenkbernard.com, Facebook, Instagram, anywhere, Clubhouse. Just look for me. I'm there. Thank you so much for joining us. This was a wonderful conversation, my sister queens, and we will see you next week. Peace.